Next, we will add some expenses that you normally have. So currently there are no expenses added. We are in stage 1 where we set goals and collect our financial information. So when you click on the expenses tab, the panel gives you common options of where you would spend your money. Some will not be able to track their expenses at the individual level. So there is an option for people to specify their total expenses that they incur. If you have details on the individual items, you can enter all your expenses using one of these options. All the items that you enter on this page will be totaled up for your expenses. So please make sure that if you are specifying a total expense, then you don't have any other expense. Otherwise you might end up with duplicating some expenses. So let us add a total expense. Similar to the income screen, you have fields here and it'll be easy for you to add this. Total monthly expense. Say you're spending about 25,000 every month on all your expenses. It could be more or less, but for our demonstration we will use this number. You can also specify your expense as an yearly expense or a monthly recurring expense. Now since we are specifying a monthly, we will choose the monthly option. You will also need to specify the time frame when you are incurring these expenses. Similar to the incomes that you add, you will also add a start date and an end date for your expense. So let us start with a expense which started off on 1st April 2010. This is to be in line with the income stream that we had presented in this demonstration. You also would then specify the end date for your expense. If you remember, it was 2035, and if I'm not mistaken, it was 30th September. So now that you have specified a start date and an end date, you can decide on how you want to see your expense changing from the start date to the end date. The chart is similar to the chart on the income screen, so we will quickly look at a few options here. You can either specify that your expense remains constant over a period of time. These amounts are at today's prices. So iMyGoals during the calculations will inflate these expenses using the long-term inflation rates. You can choose to increase your expenses over a period of time. So in this case, what you're telling is your expenses increases 10 times from 25,000 to 2,50,000 from the start date to the end date. Or you could use any of the other patterns. So let's say your expenses are increasing by 7% every year, and this is the number that you would like to use for your financial planning. Finally, you can add a comment for your own reference. Next, you can save your expense. When you go back to your list screen in step 1, you can see your expense having been recorded. Similar to the income stream, you can update it or delete it. To show you how you can update it, we go back to the screen and say now you decide that no, it's not 7% but say 8%. So you can increase your expense and also probably add another keyword here for your reminder. But just Remember that you don't duplicate your expenses, otherwise you might end up with more expenses in the plan.